Have you ever wondered what you might do if trying to respectfully make a business deal with someone you're not really sure how to communicate with? If you're trying to make a business deal with someone from Japan, there are 3 important things you should know. As a Japanese person myself, I'm a fourth, my dad is a half, and my grandmother is full. I've had to learn many customs when it comes to communicating with the Japanese people. Maybe one day, one of you will be a prominent business person looking to expand and make new deals with different people. Knowing this information will help you secure that deal and show the other person that you are intelligent and considerate. So first, I will explain the importance of nonverbal communication within the Japanese culture. Then I will tell you about greeting and communicating with someone from Japan. And last, I'll inform you about certain things not to do during the interaction. So first, the Japanese people tend to communicate a lot through nonverbal cues. According to the 2024 Cultural Atlas, Japanese people tend to pick up on things like body language, expression, and posture. So when it comes to body language, you want to make sure that your body language isn't prideful, meaning you're not, strutting around acting like you're all that. And most Japanese people tend to be pretty void of emotion whenever they speak and usually keep a pretty straight face. And posture, just make sure you have good posture, you're not slouching around, chest up, shoulders back. When it comes to eye contact, a cross-cultural study conducted in 2015 published by the National Library of Medicine found that eye contact just isn't a requirement in Japan. And if held for too long, it can be considered disrespectful and hostile. So whenever you are communicating with someone, make sure you're not gazing into their eyes for the entire length of the conversation. And especially if they're someone of a higher social status than you, just don't look too much in the eye. That can be considered disrespectful. So now that I've told you about nonverbal communication, I will now talk about verbal communication and the importance of greetings. So the Japanese people are very respectful and humble with their speech. So here is the Japanese symbol or kanji for respect, which is huge in the Japanese culture. So in the situation of talking with a Japanese business person, make sure your speech is polite, humble, and void of too much emotion, like I mentioned earlier. As the Japanese tend to be undemonstrative or detached from emotion when communicating formally. When greeting someone, especially of higher social status, like a business person, there can be 2 ways to go about it. So the first one, which is the bow, which is the most common in Japan. However, when it comes to business, typically in these situations, you would just follow the lead of your Japanese counterpart, in which a handshake might be necessary or appropriate. And now that we've talked about communicating and greeting, let's get into some very important things not to do. So certain things that are common here in the United States can be seen as offensive and disrespectful to the Japanese people. One of these things is physical contact. The Japanese people tend to refrain from physical contact and put importance on personal boundaries and space. So here in the United States, friends would go up to and, shake hands or maybe give each other a hug. But in Japan, physical contact really it doesn't happen a lot. As like I said, they're big on personal space. And another thing to keep in mind is certain gestures like pointing, which is considered extremely rude. So if you're trying to make gestures, just use open hands, signifying this thing, this person, that person, which is more respectful. So coming to a close, I hope that all of you now have a better understanding of how you might communicate with Japanese people. Today, I've told you about both verbal and nonverbal communication, as well as certain things not to do when talking to a Japanese person. So go and close that business deal successfully, and remember, knowing how to communicate with people of other cultures can be extremely important and a very valuable skill. Thank you.